Good morning and welcome to Unity of Kanawha Valley's Zoom and YouTube Live, and a little bit later today on Facebook, our virtual service here. We start our service with the ringing of the bell and the lighting of the Christ candle. I've got a bell here to ring, but I invite any of the little ones that may be listening, Freddie or Connor or Claire, if you have a bell, ring it. So here we go. We're going to ring our bell and light the candle. We ring the bell and we light the candle as a reminder of the Christ light that dwells in each and every one of us. So as we focus on this Christ light that dwells within, repeat with me our opening statement. There is only one presence, one power, active in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. Allow your heart space to open as you take that within and sit with that thought for just a moment. And let's repeat it once more together. There is only one presence and one power active in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And so it is. So now we will have our songs.
Good morning. I hope all of you are well and safe, and look forward to seeing your smiling faces in person. But Jeff and I are here to carry on here, so we're going to start off with Surely the Presence. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on his face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel her mighty power and her grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on its face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. And now we're going to do In Heavenly Love Abiding. change my heart shall fear, and safe is such confiding, for nothing changes here. The storm may roar without me, my heart may low be laid, but God is round about me, and can I be dismayed? Wherever he may guide me, no one shall turn me back. My shepherd is beside me, and nothing can I lack. His wisdom ever waketh, his sight is never dim. He knows the way he taketh, and I will walk with him. Green pastures are before me, which yet I have not seen. Bright skies will soon be o'er me, where darkest skies have been. My hope I cannot measure, my path to life is free. My God has been my treasure, and he will walk with me.
Thank you for those beautiful songs. We do have an announcement today, and this concerns our dear, dear lady, Dreama Slack. As many of you know, Dreama is living at Sweetbriar Assisted Living in Dunbar. And they have been pretty much confined just to their rooms during all of this quarantine. So this coming Thursday at 6 o'clock, now that's May 7th, they are going to have a car parade for the residents. And Diddy Markham is spearheading the Unity team to go participate in that car parade. And you can contact her. She said she will be more than happy to make signs for anybody who wants to participate. You can contact her at her email address. Now that is Diddy, DITTY .Markham, MARKHAM at frontier.com. Now, if you missed that address, just give Pam a call and she'd be more than happy to hook you up with Diddy. Diddy says that Dreama loves sweets. So if you choose to participate in this car parade Thursday evening at 6 o'clock, May 7th, maybe take Dreama a sweet treat as well. But they will be bringing the residents outside. They'll keep a safe distance, but they'll be bringing them outside so they can see the car parade. So if you're free Thursday night and want to go wave at Dreama and see her beautiful face, that would be a very loving thing to participate in. So that's all of our announcements for today. So now I will turn it over to Sky.
Janet, I appreciate how heart open you are in making that announcement. It's so moving to be thinking about these creative ways that we're finding to connect with people over time and space. And right, the Dreama has a lot of companionship where she is, so she's not lonely and shut in. She's having a pretty sweet time. And at the same time, it's wonderful to be able to have these different things like car parades. I've been hearing about these and seeing these for anniversaries and birthdays, talking to people through picture windows, sharing artwork through picture windows, especially with our folks that are older, who we definitely want to keep safe. Speaking of keeping safe, we're not at the Unity Church this Sunday. I'm specifically broadcasting from home because I want to send out the message that we are continuing to physical distance, and We want you to be safe as well. The board is in discussions around when and how we will roll out coming back to church live. Please know that that the board is thinking about this. We're talking about it, and we have everyone's best interest in mind. So as we start to roll it out, as the board starts to roll it out, you will know. But it's not going to be soon. Just for context, the Methodist churches in West Virginia are waiting at least till June, and that seems to be a fairly wise choice. You know, I know a lot of people are out, a lot of people have been pent up and, you know, just eager to get out. The roads were much busier than they have been. Certainly yesterday, I noticed, just based on the sound of what I was hearing from Corridor G, and we want to wait at least 2.5 weeks just to see what's going to happen with this surge of people being out. So please trust us. Please bear with us that we do have the best intentions in terms of everyone's safety, both physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Let's see, I'm not aware of any more announcements at this time. So I think it's time for us to go to our meditation. And I'm going to share a screen from here for this. So would you join me in noticing the beauty of the present moment? Whether you're outside or in bed, this moment is a good moment. Oh, I know what I usually do at this point. I don't do the meditation. I do that welcome thing. I'm so sorry. I'm completely thrown off. Here we go. Aloha. Take two. Aloha. Namaste. Welcome. I'm so sorry. We were visiting for half an hour before the service. I forgot it's time for me to give a welcome. So welcome. It's thrilling to have all of you here. It's thrilling to have you on YouTube live as well. My name is Sky Kirshner. The light in me greets the light in you. I want to thank you for being with us from wherever you are, whether it's outside walking or in your bed or drinking a cup of coffee in your breakfast nook or from work. Wherever you're listening to us from, I want to welcome you. The mission of Unity of Kanawha Valley is to provide you with a welcoming community of love, acceptance, and spiritual growth. It's my personal goal that you feel safe while you're here with us today, and that you feel free to be yourself and free to explore some ideas that might be useful in your life journey. Today, we'll continue with part 2 of the idea of holding onto hope in uncertain times. If you want to know more about Unity, check us out on the website. If you want to become more involved or become a member or join in that wild parade that Diddy is organizing, let Pam know through the church. And finally, if you need help, if you need any kind of help, let us know. We are here for you, and we will do what we can to help with whatever your situation is. Prayer is a central part of what we're about here today, so let's do that right now. Would you soften your gaze and let yourself smile? And would you repeat after me? At all times and in all places, God is my source and my strength. In all times and in all places, God is my source and my strength. And if you would, imagine you are touching someone you love. Imagine you're touching them on the shoulder. Imagine that you're giving them a big hug. Imagine that they are right there with you. And would you say to them, thank you for being with me on this journey. God is your strength too. Thank you for being with me on this journey. God is your strength too. Before we enter our time of meditation, it's always good to spend time in gratitude, thinking about those situations and those people that we are grateful for who have blessed our lives. I want to start by thanking you for not coming to Unity today, for staying home, for staying safe. Your being part of this service from wherever you're watching it from is part of the world that we're creating today. Every small thing you do today makes a difference in your life and in the life of those around you. Wearing your face mask, keeping a distance. Every small thing you do today makes a difference in your life and in the life of people around you. I want to thank the universe, God, the source of all life and love, for another day on this amazing journey. I want to thank everyone who's made this service possible. For you, the folks that have contributed to keep the church going, especially through this time. I want to thank Pam and Blue and Stephen and our board, for Ron and Ryan and Jeff, and for our special guest artist today, David Roth, coming in from Cape Cod over the airwaves. I want to thank Peggy and Janet, our worship leaders. I want to thank Rich, our sound and Facebook and Zoom meister. For our prayer chaplain, who I'm guessing will be Janet, is that right, Janet? And for our daily word reader, who is also Janet. And for our junior bell ringer, who also was Janet. And I think there's a glass of wine with your name on it somewhere for that great job you did ringing our bell. So before we enter into our time of meditation, I want to see if there's anyone or anything that you would like us to lift up. You can type it in the chat box. There's a little chat button at the bottom of your screen if you're on a desktop or laptop. I'm not quite sure how you get there if you're on the phone, but feel free to type in the names of anyone or anything that you're concerned about. I know we have friends with us here from Florida. Ernie has been a champion for Unity of Kanawha Valley. They've been on a number of our calls, and we really appreciate you joining us. And we know that there are places outside of West Virginia that have been terribly hit. We've had over 60,000 deaths to this, more than 25,000 in New York City. I see New Jersey and Boston. It's still growing. Florida, many friends lost, friends intimately known to our friends and members. And so we think of all of you folks, the folks that are isolated from loved ones, the folks that are mourning, the folks who are anxious about their jobs, anxious about their relationships. Janet has added Linda and Donna. Rich has added our frontline workers, especially in emergency rooms. You know, Ernie's friend, who has been on the ventilator for the past 4 weeks down in Florida, came off the ventilator. So we have little bits of good news everywhere as well. All right, with these folks that we've named, and for everyone who is in our hearts, let's join together. And now I'm going to share the screen. So let's just pay attention to this beautiful morning, this beautiful moment. I'm looking out the window right now. I have the window open and the bird sounds are incredible. The birds are coming to the feeder. It's amazing to have so much life around us. You might notice whatever other sounds there are in the room where you are currently. You might notice the experience of breathing. Each breath we take is a gift. If we are able to breathe freely and easily, we are mindful that this is a very precious gift. We know that there are many in our state and in our country and in the world who are not able to experience the freedom of an easy breath. We give thanks for the circulation of breath, for the exchange that happens without our even knowing it. For this metaphor of the circulation of abundance, of healing, of love, which flows in and through us, out of us, exchanging, giving and receiving. We give thanks for the experience of the Spirit within us. Jesus said, "Seek ye the kingdom is within." The kingdom is among you. The kingdom is in your midst. The kingdom is at hand. It is here and now. It is immediately here and now. And as we explore the meaning of this sentence, the meaning of this wisdom that the kingdom is within, we may notice that the experience of the kingdom is one of peace, the experience of spaciousness within us, the experience of timelessness. In this place, we know all abundance and sufficiency, all prosperity, all sense that we are here as ourselves in a unique way for a particular purpose, that only you can be you, only I can be me, and that our prosperity is found in being who we are and bringing that unique gift to the world. This is a place of all healing, all acceptance, all cure, all knowledge of what it is to be whole and in balance, each cell knowing what it needs to do, having an intelligence that is beyond our understanding to function in such a coordinated way, not only within our body, but within the whole ecosystem, all plants, all animals, and indeed in the entire universe, everything related. This is a place where love and relationships flourish. All love is possible because God is love. A place of reconciliation, a place where forgiveness comes from, a place where the heart opens and we can join with others in a heart-opened way. Laughing together, crying together, reconciling together. And this is a place of guidance, a place of wisdom, a place that knows that there are many roads to the top of the mountain. There are many ways to recovery, that all rivers lead to the same ocean. The wisdom of the universe, the guidance of our unconscious, listening to the still small voice, knowing that all is well and all will be well, turning our lives in partnership over to this sense of spirit and allowing this spirit to guide us. And it's from this place that we reach out to anyone, anywhere, in any need or trouble. Those living in fear, those who are feeling isolated, those who are alone, those who think they have no one who is remembering them. Please know that we are remembering you now. We are thinking of you now. Those who are feeling anxious about their jobs or anxious about their finances. Those who are feeling disconnected from people they love. Those who are feeling worried. We remember everyone. Those in our hearts, those in our minds, those who we have never met. We reach out to everyone, knowing that the consciousness of God's presence is available to everyone equally at all times and in all places, without exception. And for this, we are grateful.
The word for today is world peace. I contribute to the peace in the world. When I learn of conflict in my community or in the world, my response may be frustration, sadness, or anger. If I have those feelings, I remember that I am more than merely human. I am a living expression of God, heir to all that God is. I use my divine faculties of wisdom, understanding, and love to create the abiding peace that is my birthright. Centered in divine peace, I realize that every person is as much an expression of God as I am. As differences dissolve in a way that transcends human understanding, I come to know oneness with all the world's people. I let this realization shape my response to every person and every situation. In an awareness of my oneness with all people, my thoughts, words, and actions contribute to peace in the world. John 17:22, the glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one.
Good morning, friends at Unity. What an interesting way to be joining you again. And I look forward to the next time when I'll be able to be there with you in person. In the meantime, I send this song along. It's a new one written during this time of self-quarantining with my friend Grant Baldwin. He lives in Eugene, Oregon, and I live on Cape Cod, and we did this across the cyber waves after an exchange of emails, one of which Grant concluded by saying, "I guess I'll see you in person when the universe says it's time." And a bell went off inside my head, and we went back and forth just a couple times and came up with this song. And I got to study how to make a video on the internet in all my spare time and send it to you with my love, affection, and respect. My plans fly out the window, agenda's broken down. There's nothing else to do right now but stop and look around. People frozen in their tracks are dealing with the same. And now is not the time or place to find someone to blame. When the universe is ready, so am I. When the universe is ready, so am I. The mighty sands are shifting by and by. When the universe is ready, so am I. We have bottled up our oceans, we have fouled up all the air. For the poison of our progress, we are fully unprepared. For the consequence of actions, for these outcomes we've brought forth, it is time to pay attention to the wisdom of the earth. When the universe is ready, so am I. When the universe is ready, so am I. The mighty sands are shifting by and by. When the universe is ready, so am I. Behold a new beginning, a vision like a star. Mother Earth self-regulates when we have gone too far. I'm looking out my window, I see my neighbor wave. We're singing from this distance, and we're closer to the day, and closer to the moment when we have our sweet embrace. What a blessing it will be to meet you in that place. When the universe is ready, so am I. When the universe is ready, so am I. The mighty sands are shifting by and by. When the universe is ready, so am I.
Wow, thank you, David Roth. That was awesome. Usually at this point, I have a kid's message, and here it is, believe it or not. So I wanted to have a meeting with you guys just to hear how everything's going. So hi, Claire Foster, good to see you. Who can tell me what they like about what's going on these days and what they don't like? Who can tell me one thing they like and one thing they don't like? Caleb, yes.
That we get to stay in.
You like that you get to stay in or you don't like it?
I do.
You do. What's good about staying in? What do you like about staying in?
Well, I just don't. What is Claire doing?
Listen.
Because I ride like outside and all.
Oh, because you get to ride your bike outside and all that?
We actually just
Oh, wow.
ride bikes outside.
Sorry.
Oh, so you get to ride a lot of bikes too?
I don't know. I just don't know.
Okay. Claire, do you want to add anything?
What do you think about the virus? Are you sad about it?
No. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes or no?
I am. I hate the virus.
Oh, you hate the virus. Okay. Well, you know, I can see that. Reed, what do you like about what's going on and what don't you like about it?
What I don't like is having to stay home, but what I do like is my phone and my family.
Oh, what a beautiful answer. You got a new phone for your birthday, didn't you?
Yeah. Your dad's on phone.
Yes, and how old are you?
My dad's on phone.
Oh, your dad uses your phone? That's 10 years old now. We will sing happy birthday to you at the end of the service today. And you also lost some front teeth. Tell us about losing your front teeth.
I lost them both at the same day. I got $10 in total from the tooth fairy.
It doesn't get any better than that. That's fantastic, Reed. Thank you. Mallory, how about you?
I like staying home, but I don't really like doing the work.
You don't like doing the homework. I know. The homework is like, it's like twice as much as normal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you have your hand up so you can say something?
20-something days till my birthday.
20 days to your birthday. That's fantastic.
My birthday is on May 6th.
That's coming up. That's next week.
And my birthday and one more day.
It's 1 week.
One more week. and my birthday already passed.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. So life goes on, doesn't it? Let's have a prayer together. You remember how we did it? I'm ringing a bell right now. And take a nice deep breath in. And take a nice deep breath out. And let's do our little prayer together. Mother, Father, God, we give thanks for these kids and for the kid in each and every one of us. Amen. It's so great to see you guys. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you again live and shake your hand and give you a hug. And thanks so much for being on the call today. Well, that is just too silly, I think. That was just crazy. You want to thank those kids? Mary Beth writes that Freddie said she likes having family time and movie night and having birthday parties for her stuffed animals. We've got a lot of May birthdays among our kids, so we will sing a happy birthday to them at the end of the service. It was great to have everybody, all the kids with us. We're going to do that again, I think, next Saturday, and I will send that out to the parents so they can all be, we can have all the kids involved. Well, I hope it's not too soon for this joke, but you know, there's a worldwide financial crisis, and the banks in some countries, I'm making this up, this next part, but the banks in some countries are feeling real stress, and the banks in Japan have been feeling a lot of uncertainty because of everything that's going on. If you'll bear with me, the Origami Bank has folded. Get it? The Sumo Bank has gone belly up. The Bonsai Bank announced plans to cut some of its branches. The Samurai Bank is soldiering on following sharp cutbacks. The Ninja Bank reports having taken a hit, but it remains in the black. The Karaoke Bank is up for sale And it's likely that it's going to go for a song. And finally, analysts report that there's something fishy going on at the sushi bank where it's feared the staff might get a raw deal. Janet, thank you for your reactions. I can't see anyone else, but I appreciate that. Would you put your hand on your heart, please, and repeat after me? This is my heart. Through it, I am connected to my neighbor, to my source, and to myself. I'm learning to trust it in all things, and I am grateful. Well, I wanted to start with a quote today from Paul Purcell. He's the guy, the holistic researcher who wound up getting cancer and basically applied all of his things that he researched about the mind and the body to bring himself to a full and spontaneous remission from stage 4 bone cancer. Yes, he went through all the medical procedures, and yes, his attitude was amazing, and he has written several books about his experience and what he learned, not only researching other people with their spontaneous recoveries, but having experienced his own. He moved from Detroit, Michigan to Maui in Hawaii. He had planned to do that, and 2 weeks before his retirement and his move was when he got diagnosed with the stage 4 cancer. So he did his physical medical healing in Detroit and in the Mayo Clinic and in the places up there in that area. And he did his spiritual healing in Hawaii. And he has written a lot about uncertainty and finding hope in the midst of uncertainty. And I have a quote here that I wanted to start with, and the quote is, "You cannot identify one event or aspect of your life that is totally and absolutely certain." So he's kind of challenging us to think for a minute about whether you can think of anything in your life that is absolutely and totally certain. And other than your relationship with your spirit, as I've contemplated this sort of challenge or this question, I really couldn't come up with anything that seemed so rock solid that I was 100% sure that it would be the way I thought it would be. Certainly not physical things, certainly not things in this plane, this normal plane of existence. We know that relationships come and go. We know that jobs come and go. We know houses come and go. We know our bodies come and go. And that's part of the reason why once a week we get together to remind ourselves of this important truth that there is something eternal within us that sustains all temporality and uncertainty. Now, Paul Purcell has an interesting experience of this, not only having gone to the point of his retirement, looking forward to it, being healthy all of his life, and then all of a sudden winding up with very advanced cancer. But also because when he moved to Maui, he discovered that Maui is in fact, any Hawaiian island, and some would say any place on the West Coast, is a pretty uncertain place to be buying property, and especially building a house. Hawaii, volcanic islands, they grew up from the seafloor. If I'm understanding it right, the ocean floor is 20,000 feet below sea level. That's like 4 miles. And as improbable as it was, these volcanoes 4 miles below the surface of the ocean, on the bottom of the ocean, started erupting and spewing out debris and lava and built up and built up and built up and built up to the point that they were sticking out of the ocean and building up even more. So there are mountains in Hawaii. I have not been there, but I trust in people telling me. I've seen the pictures. I trust the pictures. And so he was kind of describing this whole sense of, of things moving. When you buy a house in Hawaii, you're never completely sure whether it's going to be 50 feet higher than when you bought it or 50 feet lower than when you bought it. We know this experience in West Virginia because our land slips all the time and foundations need work, usually because they're dropping. But in Hawaii, things could be lifting up as well as dropping. Paul Purcell writes that the relationship between uncertainty and hope is essential. That if there is only certainty, there can be no hope. Just want you to take this in. In the absence of certainty, that's where the room for hope begins. Because you don't know how it's going to turn out. This is, I think, why some of us, enjoy sports events. You don't know how it's going to turn out. Even up until the last couple minutes, you don't know. This is why I enjoy gardening, because it's kind of this miracle. I don't know if this plant or these seeds are going to enjoy where I've planted them. And I go out and I watch. Every morning I walk through and I see how my little friends are doing. And I've learned to talk to my plants. I've learned to sing to them. I've learned to welcome them. But there's some uncertainty. When you bury something in the ground, you don't know. Is it really going to be able to come up and make it through, break through? So this idea of uncertainty, I think, is essential to the idea of hope. Rather than taking hope away, its uncertainty is built into the idea of hope, because if there was no uncertainty, there would be no reason to hope. Everything would already be set. Uncertainty is what allows us to think that anything is possible. Anything is possible, because there is nothing that we can be completely sure of in this world. Now, I understand that world leaders sometimes believe that certainty or expressing certainty is important when people are in crisis. And there have been some research studies done on this, that people, when times are tough and things feel very uncertainty, they want confident leaders. They want leaders who can tell them that they know what's going on, they know what's going to happen, and they can give a timeline. And there's something comforting in the idea when I'm in a very difficult place, I kind of regress. I become like a little child, and I just want somebody to tell me what's going to happen or what's going on. And so leaders sometimes feel that they have an obligation to make it sound like they know what's happening. And some of the research indicates that, yes, we will tend to vote. We humans across the world will tend to vote for leaders who will be reassuring when we're feeling uncertain, who have a plan and who can tell us with some certainty what's going on. The irony is that the people who are experts in any subject tend to know so much about the subject that they know what they don't know. And they're not afraid to say what it is that they don't know. And so there's this interesting sort of seesaw, inverse correlation between becoming more of an expert and realize how little you know about something. Becoming an expert doesn't mean you know with certainty. It means you know things and you know how uncertain they can be. And so when we listen to experts talk about what they think about the situation, what do we get? We get a lot of uncertainty. We get a lot of ideas like, well, we're not quite sure. We're still studying. We're waiting to see what the numbers tell us. And expertise, in a way, is defined by the willingness to say, I don't completely know. We're looking at it. Socrates once said that the beginning of wisdom is ignorance. And I think this is part of that idea, that wisdom includes the idea that there are a lot of things that we don't know, especially when it's a complex subject. There are so many moving parts. Now, I saw a recent study just of the past month looking at, I forget the guy's name, the medical doctor, Dr. Fauci or whatever, or, or looking, and not just in this country, but looking at doctors in multiple countries in terms of how the population was dealing with the sense of uncertainty that the experts were telling them. And maybe for the first time in history, people were saying, we appreciate the experts telling us that they don't know completely what's happening or what's going on. There's something happening. I don't know if it's a transformation in humanity, but the willingness to appreciate people who are willing to say that the truth is, we just don't know. And so I just wanted to kind of hold this out to you as an interesting, maybe it's a shift going on between that time when we're anxious and we're looking for somebody to tell us what's happening, to give us some certainty, and the appreciation that we can have when we're anxious, that people are telling us what is, including the fact that they just don't completely know. I hope that's interesting. I'll send out some references to these research studies about the idea of leadership and the communication of certainty versus uncertainty. I know I feel this sense of uncertainty quite a bit when I think about my life. It was my birthday yesterday. Thank you for sending me birthday greetings. I'm now 64. 64 is a dynamite number. I love the number 64. You've got 8 times 8. You've got all these 4s in it. It's like this really rounded number. We watched the Beatles movie on our, we had a movie group on Friday. It was a lot of fun. The movie, what was it, Yesterday? But when I think about my life, as I have this weekend, I didn't get married till I was 43. I didn't meet my wife until I was 43. There was a lot of uncertainty going on in my mind and in my mom's mind about whether I even would get married or settle down. And I kept plugging away. I met some really wonderful people. They were just dated some really wonderful people. None of them felt like they were the right one. And so I just kind of kept plodding forward. I got kind of roped into going on a church trip with, I was going to St. John's Episcopal here in Charleston at the time, and there was a group going to Costa Rica, and I had a bunch of frequent flyer miles, and I didn't have anywhere to go or anyone to go with. And so I said, okay, I'll go on this little mission trip. And on the plane, I decided I was going to say yes to everything that happened. Anything that happened, anything anybody said to me. I didn't speak Spanish at the time. I would just say, sí, gracias. I would just say, yes, thank you. And as improbable as it seems, right, I remember the moment I thought that. We were in the middle of the air flying to Costa Rica, 3.5-hour flight. 2 hours later, I meet the woman who I fall in love with and marry and have children with. And that just seems completely improbable to me. If it wasn't for uncertainty, I think we might not do half the things we do, because you never know who you're going to run into. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know how the next conversation is going to unfold in your life. And so I want to lift up this idea of the hopefulness of uncertainty, that it's uncertainty that tells us, that reminds us that anything is possible. Jesus, Lindsay, in our daily discussion, daily word discussion group, mentioned the other day that Jesus is like a fish in water. A fish in water is never thirsty. And Jesus is swimming in an ocean of uncertainty, and he's thriving in it. When we are uncertain, when things are uncertain, he is able to find comfort. No situation, no person, even someone who is completely lost to society, everyone was certain that person, nothing will come of that person is untouchable. But when it came to Jesus, he saw everyone as equally worthy. Now, last week we had the daily word, which had to do with Lazarus. You may remember Lazarus was Mary and Martha's brother who died while Jesus was away. Martha sent word to him, said, "Come quick, Lazarus is sick, you better get here quick." Jesus didn't come. He got there a couple days later. Lazarus had already been dead. And Martha was pretty annoyed at Jesus. And when he showed up, she came out wagging her finger at him, saying, "Where have you been? You should have been here." But Jesus had a different idea. And as you know from Sunday school or from that reading, Jesus says to come out to Lazarus, come out of the tomb, and he does. And I just want to lift up this idea because sometimes we think other people are so lost that they cannot be redeemed. And we know this in the addictions world, when someone their life is unmanageable, sometimes it's easy to write them off. Or when someone is sick, it might be easy to write them off, especially if they're a stranger to you. But no condition is completely without this hope, without this sense of uncertainty. It's uncertainty about our condition, whether good or bad, that gives us hope. And the story of Jesus with Lazarus is a great example. In Lazarus, we have a definite case of Jesus being able to discover life in someone who everyone else had given up for dead. And I think that is such a great metaphor and such a great symbol that even for Jesus, death, someone being dead, whether it's physically or emotionally or metaphorically, Jesus still sees the life in them. There is no certainty, no matter what. All right, well, that's my message today. All things are possible because of uncertainty, and that there are very few things, maybe the only thing for some of us that we know for certain is this experience of God's love within us. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Janet for the prosperity moment.
This is the time when we ask you to support our ministry. You can do that online through our webpage, or you can simply send a check to the church. But let's hold in mind our prosperity, our being in the flow of giving and receiving as we repeat together our offering statement. Divine love, moving in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, I trust God, and I am grateful.
One, two, three. some hilltop all alone it finds another, and together they roll on down. One morning, then another, discovering one another, exploring, adding on to the love we found. And the river is wide, and our love it runs deep, coming down from above again and again. What started so small, now it's all I can see, like a river growing out of one drop of rain. One footstep, no hurry, real easy, no worrying. Love's labor slowly turning into wine. Each day brings your sympathy like water rushing over me. It heals me, it's as if you were always mine. And the river is wide, and our love it runs deep, coming down from above again and again. What started so small, now it's all I can see, like a river growing out of one drop of rain. And the river is wide, and our love it runs deep, coming down from above again and again. What started so small, now it's all I can see, like a river growing out of one drop of rain. And the river is wide, and our love it runs deep, coming down from above again and again. What started so small, now it's all I can see, like a river growing out of one drop of rain.
Oh, what wonderful, wonderful music. Thank you, thank you. At this time, we do give thanks for our gifts and the offerings. We are grateful that we can be a source of spiritual nourishment, and we are grateful that you recognize that and support this ministry. We know these are uncertain times, but we look to our faith and cast aside fear and know that all is well. So we say thank you for the technology that makes it possible for us to meet together. Thank you for the wonderful music and words. Thank you for each and every person that contributes to this ministry with their time, with their talent, and with their treasure. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
So at this time, we're going to do our birthday song. If you have a birthday, if you will wave to me so we can acknowledge you. I know we have Sky and Reed and Connor.
That's right.
I
Sky and
see
Reed and
everybody
Connor.
else waving. Those are the only ones I see waving. So let's say happy birthday to Sky, Reed, and Connor.
Happy birthday to and many
Thank you,
more.
Frank. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we will sing together our peace song.
Okay. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now together our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here today, and can't wait to be in a place where I can hug all of you. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you all so much for being with us at Unity of Kanawha Valley on this digital service. Thanks to Ryan and Ron and Jeff and David Roth and Rich at the controls. Thank you if you were watching us on YouTube. I think we're ending there. And thank you, everyone. We're going to keep the room open and unmute everyone so you can visit with each other. Hey, Jeff.